Have you ever wondered what games you should keep or you should lose? Find out here at Purge Reviews. Have you ever wondered what games you should sell or you should use? Find out here at Purge Reviews. Find out on our top 10 list what games you cannot miss. Don't forget to subscribe to Purge Reviews.
Traders of Osaka is a little Z-Man game that I picked up at, I'm going to say Dice Tower Con. I think that's where I got this at. Cool stuff is there. I saw this game. People were raving about it, so I picked it up. It's a pretty good little two-player game. It plays 2 to 4. I like it 2. It's probably fine 4, but I have a little more control with 2. It plays really quick, 30 minutes or less. Very tight economic game. Maybe some of the cards coming out could screw you over, but that placement of the reserve really helps out. And it's with this little short, I don't want to say overly thinking, but gives you a little something to think about shipping goods. The theme has been done before, but I do like the mechanic of buying all the cards or none, so sometimes you have some hard decisions to make. It's a fairly good little small economic game, and I like this one. I won't say quite a bit, but I like it maybe at 5, high 5, low 6. Some people are really, really going to dig this game. Like, you're really going to dig it. When you see it, you're going to know if you're going to like it or not. And it is well produced. It's fine. The board's a little small and tiny, which kind of hurts me, but you're going to learn the game quickly. I'll get into the rules in the rules section, but it's a little questionable at best at times. It's a really good design, and it's a fun experience that I had in this game, and I liked it quite a bit. So, Traders of Osaka, I'm going to recommend it, but only to those that kind of are into this sort of thing. It will give you some decisions to make. It may be a little tricky with the scoring for non-gamers, but this is a game that really is light enough to play with most gamers. For Traders of Osaka, this is a fairly small game. This is a very high quality box. I can't stress enough, this is a very nice box compared to a lot of the cheaper boxes you get, and the artwork is fairly good. So they actually put some investment money into this box. You're gonna get a rule book with an example of gameplay on the back. There's some pictures inside, a fact right there, and the rules with pictures and stuff, and it's fairly easy to follow. The game is not very difficult. You are going to get a rule book, or I mean not a rule book, a small board. You put the cards here, which is this part of the board's pretty much useless. You put the tokens there, and then this really is what you're using. It's fine. Now, if you put this on a big table, it's going to look really small. It's fine. You know, the game is really the cards. This just kind of is placement. This could have easily just been 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. But it's really hard if you have a normal size table to use a board this small. You're going to have a number of chits. Let's move the board out of the way so you can see these. These are pretty generic with no stickers on them, just the colors. They're nice wood. You will get a couple ships, one for each color. You don't own these ships per se. And tokens. These are not the thickest of tokens, but not the cheapest either, so fairly good. And then you're going to get a number of cards. I do like the finish on these cards. The cards are a tad thin, but I like them and they feel really good and they shuffle well, so no really complaints. I'm not crazy about this pattern on the back, but the cards are fairly easy to see. Really, the only thing that matters is if you're colorblind, the icon. If you're not colorblind, then there's the colors and the numbers. Is really all that's going to matter. But they shuffle well. I think they'll hold up just fine. You're not going to have any scuffing. The rounded corners. Very good. So that's really the components. Not a whole lot in the box, but everything that is fairly well made. The rule book for Traders of Osaka is a little questionably organized, if you ask me. I think it could have been a little bit more clear. The scoring is a little bizarre. I think it scores that way, and I'll show you that in the flow of the game. I think it scores that way because it works, but there's no rhyme or reason to it. There's no thematic sense for it. And this isn't a heavily thematic game anyway. You're not getting this game. This is a card play, kind of this artificial market that's created. The rules do a good job. You'll be able to learn the game from the rules, but I don't know the rulebook's going to knock your socks off. I had some problems with it, with organization and why some things were placed in these areas, but you'll get through it because it's not complicated, so the rules will make sense by the end. So let me show you how the game is set up a little bit. You're going to start out with all 4 of these tiny ships on Osaka, and you're going to be going through here to get to Edo, and that's kind of the point of the game. And then you're going to take 5 cards. You're going to shuffle the pile, just pretend like they're nicely shuffled, and you're going to put 5 of them out. Let me see if I can move this over a tad. And you're going to have 5 cards that will come out. Let's put these out. 2, 3, 4, and 5. And you're going to put 3. And this top row is really the future market. I don't want 3 blues out. I want to show you something a little bit different. So, okay. So say you had something like that. On your turn, there's a couple of things you can do. You can buy goods, take coins, or reserve cards. I'll show you reserve cards first. You just take the color token you are, and you put it on the card. That means nobody can buy it except for you, whatever you want it to do. It doesn't matter which row that it's in. You can't buy anything in the bottom. After this side, let me just get this over just a tad. After this side, after the bottom is bought, those will come down and we'll add 2 random cards. But if you wanted to buy a card, you would spend coins from your hand to buy the bottom. So let's say this is my hand. I have 12 coins. Now whenever you buy, you don't get change. And the way you'd buy is you have to add up all of these to see what the cost is. So the first 2 is 2, 4, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. So it would cost me $15 to buy the entire row. I've only got 12. I can't do that. So whenever you buy, you have to buy the entire row. But luckily, this guy reserved this one, so I can't buy that one. So I have to buy all of them except for that one. So 2, 4, 7, 8, 9, 10. Well, look at that. I got 10. Now, if I didn't, I could pay more. That's fine. I just won't get changed. I'll pay this, and these come out of the game, and I would buy all of these. Now, these would then be set collect. Is that a word? Set collect in front of me. Okay. I put these here and this here. And this is open information to everybody. This one would stay, because I didn't buy it. This would come down. We'd put a new card out, and we would put 3 in the future market. And that's how buying goods works. Now remember, pinks now comes down. So it's not very hard. You just have to be able to buy them all. When you do, if one good was bought, let me move the camera over. So we bought 2 blue, a red, and a green. So red and green each bought 1. They would move 1 space closer to Edo on the map. If 2 or more are bought, which was the case with blue, he would move 2 spots. So they moved 1 and he moved 2 closer to Edo. The second thing you can do is you can just take a coin. So the only way you can buy, I only have 2 left in my hand, so I'm never going to be able to buy anything. So what I need to do is try to take something for coins. So I'm going to take a 5. Now you won't always want to take the most, because you want to take what's likely to score. And I'm going to show you why in a second, but if the ship is here, when one ship gets to Edo, you kind of do a scoring. If there are any ships here when that scoring occurs, you're going to lose all of those cards. Okay, so it doesn't do any good. So yellow's not about to score. I'm not collecting any yellows. It just happened to be a 5, so I'll keep it. And so that could be an action or a turn for you, just picking up a coin, thus giving you more cards to purchase. Now I could have picked up the coin. If I'm pink, I could have picked up that red card if I wanted to. But I'm the only one that can do so. And you can only reserve 1 card. You only have 1 of those tokens. Let me show you how scoring works. So let's say blue, green, and red scored. Okay? Just pretend like they got here and we had played the game and progressed that far. For every card that you have, you score the highest card value. So I have 3. And I have 2 of those. So both these cards would be worth 3 points. This would be 6 points. So you always round up. So this is actually going to score me 10 points. So I would put, each card I put face down is worth 5. So 5, 10. This is worth 3, but it rounds up to 5, so I have 1 victory point. And this is 2, but it rounds up to 5, so I have 1. So I just scored 20 victory points off that. Let's try a different example. Let's say I had this, 3 blues instead. 2, 5, 7. So this would be 10. I would always take the 2 highest, and those become victory points, 10. And the 1 left over would go into a discard pile that could re-enter the game. If I had 8, then it rounds up to 10. Each one is 5, so that would be the 2 cards. So you always take the highest cards, or you always take the lowest cards out. So the red one or the blue one I had done incorrectly. I would take in the 2 2s and left the 3 behind, and that can help with the catch-up mechanic. Now, for each VP, for each color you scored, you get a. So I scored blue, green, red. I would get these achievement tokens, 1 for each one that I scored. The achievement tokens are going to be increased in value over time. If anybody was in the black sunk, so if you had any yellow cards and they were in this area, then you would discard those and you would not score anything. There are ways to get insurance using these little icons at the top. Some have 0, some have 2, and some have 1. So if those are in your hand, if you have, like I have this in my hand, I could discard this, saving 2 cards, let's say. But at the end of the game, the player who has the most victory points will win. In case of a tie, it's who has the most achievement cards. And the game is fairly easy to play. Really, you're just going to be buying cards and spending those to buy those cards so you can set collect. And the scoring is always the highest, so if you can get a set collection with a 5, you want to try to get as many of those as possible, thus moving the boat also. So that's Traders of Osaka. I hope that was a good explanation. I felt like I did a terrible job, but I hope that got the idea of the game across. Who should buy this game? Anybody who wants a little light economic game. It plays very good with 2, so if you're a 2-player family, which I am sometimes, this is a really good game to try out. There is some strategic screwery they can do in there, but it's strategic. It's not just drawing a random card. You don't always want to buy the highest card because they're going to score you the most. There's kind of push and pull about getting those 5s and having them be coins so you can buy more cards versus being a multiplier that can score higher cards. So that's a fairly interesting give and take. Some interesting things. It's by far not one of my favorite games. I think you can play this with lighter gamers. I don't know about new gamers because the scoring is kind of wonky, but lighter gamers, this could be a filler to get things started. A husband, wife, or some combination thereof could play this at night when the kids go to bed. So Traders of Osaka, I'm going to recommend, I'm going to keep it, but I'm going to recommend it for you if you feel like this fits a niche in your collection and you know who you are. So it's not an instant buy for everybody, but it's definitely, if you're not going to buy it, try it and see if it fits for you. So that's Traders of Osaka, a keeper for me.